Welcome back. Him and her Super Bowl ad, they're wrong for that. And this is going to be a long one. Let's talk about today is February 10th, 2025. Yesterday in Super Bowl 59, Hims and hers Super Bowl ad, sick of the system, is sparking controversy today. In there, they said something's broken, but it's not our bodies, it's the system. In the ad, they talk about the risk of obesity in $160 billion weight loss industry that feeds on our failures. There are medications that work, but they're priced for profits, not patients. The system wasn't built to help us. It was built to keep us sick and stuck, is what they said there. Hims and Herms is claiming the system is broken and designed to profit from patients, but is just making the same profiteering practices more convenient and affordable. What I want to say is the problem isn't that people can't afford weight loss medication that just started development in the 90s. The problem is the policy systems and environments that contribute to societal weight gain for the past 60 years, including deliberate miseducation and frequent misinformation regarding health. So in this video, I'm going to go over what's going on, some problems with this Hims and Hers ad, why overweight and obesity are more complex than you think, and public health guidelines that you can start today to protect your health. And what I really want you to come away from this video with is to think bigger about your health so ads don't easily manipulate you. You can better understand what you can manage so you can lead a healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams. Click like if that's something you're into. Welcome. My name is Reggie. I'm the founder of Fit for Freelance, where I build adaptive business leaders through compassionate health coaching. A little bit about my background. I'm the founder of fitforfreelance.com, 12 years of public health policy and education experience, bachelor's in nutrition, master's in medical science, certified personal trainer. I've got a ton of GLP-1 receptor agonist medication videos linked below. All that's in the description below on YouTube. All right. So I've got a good background on this, and I want to bring a new perspective that can help you understand what's going on in this commercial. My views here are solely my own. They don't represent anyone else. And if you want to work with a compassionate coach who understands these systems and behavior change, book a call below so you can take confident ownership of the healthy, fulfilling life of your dreams. So let's get into this a little bit. Hims and Hers offers weight loss medications and treatment plans prescribed by doctors. Basically what these are is they're compounded versions of the weight loss drug semaglutide that may have lower costs. Semaglutide, commonly known as Ozempic, Wegovy, one of those injectable weight loss drugs. Compounding pharmacies are regulated by state boards of pharmacy, and they source their ingredients that are usually obtained from factories registered with the FDA. However, the federal agency, FDA, doesn't verify the safety or effectiveness of compounding pharmacies. So it could be like bootleg medication, basically, is what the allegations are. They're not verified directly by the FDA. This trade group represents drug manufacturers, said that the ad that they showed during the Super Bowl violates a federal rule that requires drug ads not to be false or misleading. And then Partnership for Safe Medicine said the 1-minute ad is misleading in its entirety because it doesn't disclose compounded drugs are not FDA approved and can be riskier for patients. Hims and Hers, the company, came back and said that the drug industry is attempting to cancel an ad that directly calls out how they are part of a system that fails to prioritize the health of Americans. The system is broken, and this is just another example of how they don't want Americans to know they have options. Now, what I want to say is that saying the system is and has been broken isn't really the solution, right? That's not just from the lack of access to weight loss injection drugs. I actually have a chart here that is not available. Okay, so basically weight loss and weight gain and obesity has been increasing since the 1960s. Let me see if I can get this in here real quick. Here we go. Here's a chart that shows that obesity has been increasing since 1975 in the United States, Canada, Australia, United Kingdom, Mexico, Europe, all these countries. And up to 2016, when this chart ends, there has been a steady rates of increase. And the United States has been higher in that. And that's not just because of these medications that are coming out that were approved in 2017. So something to consider here. We're going to go into a little bit more of what's happening, what's causing that, and what you can do to protect your own health. Okay. In 1998, a little bit about these GLP-1 injection drugs. A team of researchers developed liraglutide. This is one of those GLP-1 receptor agonist drugs. And then semaglutide was eventually approved for medical use to treat diabetes in the US by December 2017. So that was just 8 years ago. You saw the chart, been gaining weight for a long time before that. So that really suggests that the accessibility and price of novel weight loss medications aren't the leading causes of increasing obesity rates worldwide. What it really is social determinants of health. These are non-medical factors affecting health, like social economic status, geographic location, quality of jobs, education, food security, housing costs and location, work environments and schedules, sedentary time, transit time and method, community design, healthy access, healthcare access and costs, everything else that impacts how you get around, how you're living, if you can walk to work without getting run over by a car, all those things, how much you sit, your computer work, the proliferation of fast food restaurants, how much people are driving to get to work, suburban migration, people leaving the cities and driving longer, all those things are having a bigger impact. And those policies that are affecting those kinds of environmental impacts are having a bigger impact on American obesity rates and global obesity rates. People don't work in the yard and fields all day. Things are different now. Okay. So what happens when you have this environment that's been changing for the last 60 something years? Is it possible or difficult for people to meet the fundamental public health guidelines? Things like 5+ servings of fruits and vegetables per day, or 150+ minutes of moderate physical activity per week. All right. So when people can't do that, or an environment makes that more difficult, then that is the system that is preventing people from staying at a healthy weight for themselves. Or that's the system that's contributing to overweight and obesity in communities on a big scale. It's not some other system or just the pharmaceutical companies. And this is a rant I can go on pretty readily because everyone likes to point out one thing. Obesity is a complex, multifaceted social structure that has lots of impacts. All right, so environment is only one part, and there's also other factors like an individual's genetics and their choices in their environment that play major roles in health outcomes, like how much they're eating or their physical activity levels or how they retain weight, any of that, right? The big thing to think about here is education is key. And we have a huge gap in nutrition education, health education. A lot of people take like one health education class in 8th grade and think that's going to let them ride for the rest of their lives. They don't do any updates or research, or they might get some secondhand knowledge from social media and Instagram, and you think that's going to help support the rest of your life. It's hard. So questions you got to ask yourself: do you know what healthy eating is? How does it fit into your life? What impacts it? Do you actually do it? Are you following these public health guidelines? I'll give you some. These are linked below on YouTube. Dietary guidelines for American, top 10 things you need to know. Big thing here, most Americans still do not follow the dietary guidelines. So even if you had a lot of other things going well, if everyone had medication, hims and hers and Ozempic and all that stuff, people still wouldn't be following these guidelines, which is the real problem. And beyond that, what's impacting their choices so they don't follow these guidelines, or why they can't follow these guidelines. All right. So people are scoring a 59 out of 100 on healthy eating index, which is a measurement of how closely diet aligns with the dietary guidelines. Some of the things that you can do in your everyday life: limit added sugars, right, to less than 10% of your calories per day, limiting your saturated fat to less than 10% calories per day, limiting your sodium intake. So that pretty much takes out a lot of the fast food options that taste delicious and might be the most convenient thing to eat, right? Or if you are going out to eat anywhere, really, they add a lot of those things to make the food more delicious, and that doesn't always match up. And then you have to think about the things that contribute to those other choices, right? Do you have time to cook? Do you know what to buy to make your meals healthy? Do you meal prep? All that stuff factors into it. Another thing that's in that dietary guidelines is limiting your alcoholic beverages to 2 or less if you are drinking, 1 for women. All right. And then going on to more public health guidelines, this federal office, they have top 10 things to know about the second edition of the physical activity guidelines for Americans. That's also linked below. The first key guideline for adults is to move more and sit less. And then the recommendation is based on new evidence that shows a strong relationship between sedentary behavior and increased risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, all-cause mortality. So why are people sitting more is a key question. It's not because they didn't have enough hims and hers and GLP-1 and Ozempic and all that stuff. All right. It's about sedentary time sitting. So if you're sitting right now, probably stand up. All right. To keep going, to attain the most health benefits from physical activity, adults need at least 150 to 300 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity like brisk walking or fast dancing each week. So that breaks down to about 22 minutes per day. Are you getting active every day like you're meant to, like these guidelines that are already out are suggesting? Or are you going to let a commercial mislead you to think that there's some miscellaneous system that is specifically holding you back, and that's why you need their medication? All right. Adults also need muscle strengthening activity like lifting weights or doing push ups at least 2 days every week. That's from the guidelines. I'm not just telling you that. And any amount of physical activity has some health benefits, moving more frequently throughout the day as they work towards meeting the guidelines that's in there. So, overall, what I want to point out is that hims and hers are right that the system isn't exactly stacked in your favor, right? Now, I just listed a whole bunch of behaviors and personal choices that you can do, and you have to give some kind of acknowledgement to that doesn't work for everyone. If you are working two jobs, or if you work long hours doing spreadsheets or something like that, and you don't think about the systems and how it's affecting your behaviors, you're going to be behind on those kinds of choices. You're going to struggle to keep up with your health habits, healthy eating, healthy activity, and those are the real challenges. Okay, so however, there are several steps for prevention, better systems, and empowerment that come before medication for a Super Bowl sized public. And that's why I really think that hims and hers, they're out of pocket. They're wrong for that, for implying that it's some other system where not everyone has access to their medication. And that's the reason that people are gaining weight at an alarming rate in the US and around the world. Okay, so I hope that helps you think bigger about your health so these ads don't manipulate you and you can better understand what you can manage so you can lead a healthy, fulfilling life of your own dreams. All right. An ad like Hims adds to the confusion of health and not understanding what you can do. If you want help figuring out a system that works for you, you can book a free call that's linked below on YouTube. And then next, you can watch Does Walking Burn Belly Fat from the Guilt Free Health Coach. I'll put that right there. And then below, you can watch the playlist on GLP-1 drugs if you're interested in those too. So what do you think about that ad, this message, some of the systems that impact your health? Let me know in the comments. As always, keep practicing. Peace.